Hi viewers, this is Dr. Shehzad Kareem. In my today's video, I tell you about ICQs, that is what ICQs are and why it is important to use ICQs when teaching in a class. The acronym ICQ stands for Instruction Check Question. Instruction check questions are used by the teachers when teaching in a class to ensure and to make sure that the instructions they give are understood by their learners. Because if instructions are not used or if instructions are not understood properly by the learners, then they may not be able to perform the activities or the task assigned to them. First, with the help of an example, I explain what an ICQ is. For example, when teaching a class, I ask my students to open page number 9 of their books, and I ask them to do activities number 2, 5 and 6. And I ask them that in these activities they are supposed to identify verbs and nouns, and I ask them that they should encircle all the verbs and they should underline all the nouns given in those activities. And then I ask them to use pair work to do these activities, and I assign them a time of 5 minutes. So you see that I have given my students multiple instructions. Now it is very important that I should check whether my students have understood those instructions or not. So to make sure, what I will do, I will ask a few instruction check questions to my learners. For example, first I will ask my learners, okay, which page of the book will you open? And my students say page number 9. And I ask them, okay, and which activities will you be doing? So they say activities number 2, 5 and 6. And I ask them, okay, what are you supposed to do in these activities? They say that we are supposed to identify nouns and verb. That is, we are supposed to encircle the verbs and underline the nouns. And I say that how will you be doing these activities? Will you be doing these activities in the form of pair work, group work or individual work? So they tell me that they will be doing pair work. And lastly, I ask them that how much time I have given to you to perform these activities, and they say that 5 minutes. So in this way, when I ask these instruction check questions, so my learners give me the answers, and now I am 100% sure that my all learners have fully understood the tasks, and then they will be doing those activities in the class. So this is how we use ICQ's instruction check questions in a class. And these instruction check questions are not only specified or not only an important feature of a language class only, but they can be used in the classes of any other subject, whether that is a class of mathematics or physics or whatsoever. Because our main purpose of using ICQs is to check whether our learners have understood the instructions or not. Now, I come to the second part of this video, in which I explain that why it is important to use ICQs. ICQs are very important in a class because through these ICQs we make sure that our learners fully understand, and then after understanding the instructions they can participate in the classroom activities and they can do the tasks. As teachers, you would have noticed that mostly sometimes we complain that our students are not fully engaged in a classroom, or they are not doing the task themselves. That is, some of the students, they are performing the tasks, but some of the students are just sitting idle in the class. And we make our students responsible for this, and as teachers we do not realize that there might be some fault with our own teaching process. And a very important mistake, or a very significant mistake that we make, this is that we do not ensure that our students have understood the instructions. So that's why it is important that if we want to make our classes learner centered, and if we want to make sure that each and every student in our classes, they perform the activities and they participate in the classroom learning process, so we should use instruction check questions. Similarly, as I teach in the Pakistani context, and in Pakistani context I have seen that we have got large classes. So the use of instruction check questions is very important, specifically in those contexts like Pakistan, where we have got large classes. In larger classes, it is difficult for the learners to understand the instructions because the learners belong to different ability levels. Some of the students are really intelligent, and some of the students are average, and some of the students are weaker. So to make sure that all the students equally understand the instructions, specifically in large classes, the use of ICQs is very important. Then another feature which is relevant and which is important with reference to the use of ICQs is the level of the learners and the level of the classes. No doubt that at higher level, just like at university level, where students have got a good level of understanding, so the use of ICQs may not be that much important, but the use of ICQs is very important at junior level classes, particularly in schools, at primary level and even at elementary and secondary level. So through the use of ICQs, we make sure that our learners, just like our junior level learners, primary level learners, elementary level learners, they understand the instructions and then they perform the tasks. So this is why it is very important that as language teachers, we should ensure that when we are doing activities, when we are assigning tasks to our learners, we should make sure that our learners fully grasp those tasks and those activities and our instructions, and then they should be performing those tasks. So this was a sort of brief information about ICQs that I have provided to you through this video. And there is another concept which is associated with ICQs, that is CCQs, which we call concept check questions. ICQs are different and concept check questions are different. What concept check questions are or what CCQs are, I will explain in my next video. Thank you very much.